Javila. It's nice to be tuning in with you guys. I know that I have had a hiatus, but I'm here now. So I wasn't feeling that great, and that's just the way it is. So I wasn't feeling well enough to film, but now I am. So, peace. I'm so glad to be with you, and I hope that you guys are doing really well. And so, this theme will be forwarded with a poem of mine, and I also have a few things that I would like to share. Excuse me for the well, never mind. I'm not going to say what I was going to say, so there's no need for me to be excused. But in the midst of things, I have a book or two that I would just like to point out. I may or may not get very elaborate with the book or two, or maybe I will. It just all depends. So, first things first, I would like to share, there are some things that I'm looking into doing. One thing that I am looking to do is composting. And I don't know if you know anything about composting, but there are so many different type of information that I've gotten on composting. And so I'll tell you the first information that I obtained about composting. I don't know if it was, well, now I think I do know that it probably isn't information that would suit me, because the first information that I did get was to use, pretty much any kind of waste, may it be vegetables or vegetable peelings and fruit peelings and eggshells. Well, not necessarily eggs, but eggshells and just a host of different waste. And I said, my goodness, well, that sounds pretty scary, because I know a lot of critters that like waste. So I was afraid that would be the case. So I did some research, even though at first I actually started saving some waste as far as orange peels and eggshells, brown eggs, that is, and banana peels and like some oil, like some collards that went bad and things like that. But then I said, wait, let me research this. So I found that, yeah, you got to do different things to fight off, critters, raccoons, bugs. And this one guy made it so simple. He goes, oh, yeah, look at this big old fat, meaty, whatever it was. And he goes, you want that because it helps to, with the compost and everything, to do what it's supposed to do. But then he said, but then you don't want it, when you're going to start planting. So then just go in there and pick them out. And he just made it sound like it was so easy, 1, 2, 3, ABC kind of thing. And that just sounds like that would be a tedious, scary process. And on top of that, would you really get them all? So anyway, I found one that actually was information from my local area about composting. And they said to use like leaves and different things like that, more nature type products. And so I said, yeah, that's something that I would want to do. They did not suggest orange peels and things like that, even though I think I want to try the orange peels, because I can't see, critters wanting orange peels. I don't know, or lemon peels and things like that. I mean, I've never heard of anybody having a problem with, you know, critters and different things like that from that. So that's something that I may or may not try, but I'm thinking I may, along with, you know, leaves and different things like that. So that is something that I look forward to doing, and I hope that it works out. I'm not going to overthink it, because that's what I've done in the past, where I wanted to start different ventures or whatever, and overthought the process, and it took me years to actually put both feet in the water and just jump in. And so then when I realized that's pretty much all it took, then I found that, you know, I was okay with what I was doing, as far as I ended up being good at it. Like, you know, some gardening and things like that. Like, I ended up having like a green thumb, and it was like, okay, I just really overthought that process. Like, it wasn't even that serious. So I'm not going to do that this time. I'm going to just do it, kind of thing. And you can do it year round. It's something that you're supposed to do continuously. You know, it's supposed to be a lifestyle kind of thing, not just like seasonal or something like that. So I hope that I can, because it's something that you're supposed to be like dedicated to, like constantly watering the compost to make sure it doesn't dry out and things like that. And, you know, it's just like watering your plants and things like that. So, like, if you were to go out of town, you would need somebody to come in your home or whatever to water your plants, you know, that kind of thing, because they're like babies. So it's the same thing with composting, you know, but then you got to make sure, you know, the compost is not too damp. You know, you don't want to flood it. You just want it to be like a damp sponge. And you want to do it every couple of days, you know, not make sure you don't put it like directly in the sun, you know, so it won't dry out easily. You don't want to put it like right up to, you know, close to your house and things like that. It's not really, you know, there's different techniques and different ways, and in stores they have like kits that you can buy to start composting, but you don't have to do that. Like, you know, consumers are, you know, merchants are always trying to find different ways to make money, you know, and we buy into it a lot of times instead of us just making things ourselves. So you don't have to buy a starter kit for composting, because it's waste, or, you know, leaves, or it's you know, things like that. So, like, I was talking to this lady, and she said, well, why don't you just make this, or why, you know, and it's a lot of things that we do buy, and it's like, hey, you can make that yourself. You can make that moisturizer yourself, and then have like 3 ingredients. You can make those peanut butter cookies yourself. You don't have to buy peanut butter cookies. It's only 3 or 4 ingredients to make peanut butter cookies, you know, those kind of things. So it's just a matter of being self-sufficient, you know, and it builds your character, you know, it helps you to have knowledge under your belt, you know, you're learning, and you're just expanding, you know, yourself. And so that is a beautiful thing, especially when it comes to things that anybody can do. You know, that's more so what I'm speaking of, the basics. You know, those basic things we can just pretty much do, and it's a beautiful thing. So that level of conversation is on the topic of, you know, creativity. And to go back to what I said, how I feel like everybody is an artist in some way, shape, form, or fashion, all of that is art, because you're creating, you know, you're being creative, and you're using your creativity to have it. So, yeah. So, anyway, I have a book that I would like to share with you on the topic of creativity. So, hold on 1 second. Sorry about that. All right. Okay. I have not looked all through this book, but on the topic of creativity, I know a lot of people like certain things. Some people, when it comes to decorating, design, how they want their interior, where they reside to look, or whatever. Office, space, it doesn't matter. Everybody has their thing. Like for instance, just to like give you an example of how far ranged our thinking can be and things that we like. I remember hearing, I think it was Alicia Keys. Yeah. Alicia Keys said that she liked, this was some years ago, she likes when she's creating her music, she likes an organized mess. Yeah. She says she doesn't like things to be all neat and everything. She likes for things to be kind of scattered here and there, an organized mess, and that helps her creativity to spark flames. So that's amazing to hear that, because everybody's so different. Because me, there is no such a thing as an organized mess. Everything has to be just, I'm too anal and I drive myself crazy. So what really brings out the best in somebody may be something totally different for you. So, yeah, that's how that goes. So I would like to share, this book, maybe it can spark my creativity, your creativity. I don't know if you can see it, but I'll try to describe some things. So, like, anyway, for instance, this is one book out of many that I have from the library. Simple as that. But this one is called Shabby Chic. And it has, like, for instance, okay, some of the things that I've read, I like the wording because I like words. And it said, dining on the deck. An open trellis dapples the sun onto the air eating area. So that makes it sound like the eating area of that space. It makes it just sound like, ooh, I want to go to that eating area. And I like how in this picture it's so simple. Like, as you can see, well, I'm covering up my voice. As you can see, she has some clothes hanging up, and they're colorful. So they create, creativity, color, artistry throughout the room just by having the clothes hung up. And then you can see like just something thrown on the chair, but it's colorful, So sometimes it's something that simple, and I appreciate things like that so much, because you can go to a store and buy things that are put together. It's already put together when you buy it, and to me, that's not my taste, because for me, that's boring. For somebody else, I've seen other people, and they like that taste, and that's cool for them. I remember an acquaintance of mine, her nickname was Sparkle, and I remember Sparkle, she said, it's, this was, okay, she said, it's sexy or attractive to have some pumps. Say if you have a husband or something, or a husband, and you have your pumps, and they're just there, like some cute attention or not, or whatever the case may be. Just being, putting your own flair on things. You know, just always having your perspective in something that you do to create and show your personality. That's really good, you know? So it doesn't take a lot of things, you know? It doesn't take a lot of money. It doesn't have to. Now, if you want to splurge, hey, do you. But you can just do something, anything, you know? It's not that big of a deal. It's like, but yet it still gets somebody's attention. It still, you know what I mean? It makes you feel comfortable and make you feel happy, and it brings joy to you and others. See? So, like, there's so many different things that just, I think, endless creativity. Like this. Now, I wouldn't do this because, frankly, I think I'm too clumsy, but I still think it's very cute. I think this is me. Like, this is something that I would do, actually, but I'll just have to, like, make sure I'm not sleepy. But if you can see the books on the stairs, that is so neat. Like, I like the colors, and I like the hues, you know, of the steps and stuff. Just that alone, that's not even a big deal. They're just books, and the colors of the books, and, you know, the textures of the books and the paint on the stairs. It's not that big of a deal, but yet it shows a lot of self-expression, right? So I appreciate things like that, you know. Self-expression is beautiful, you know, especially when it can come so natural, you know. And that's what I think I like about simplicity, because simplicity to me, in a lot of ways, in certain areas, can show, it can express how, at the same time, something that comes so natural instead of something being forced or whatever, you know. Like that chair, I don't really know why I show that chair. It's cute. Like, it's torn. I can never, but it's really cute. You can reupholster that. So yeah, these are just different things. That's a really nice book. Okay, I'll show this one. This one is called Cupid in Mind. And I'm reading this. I haven't gotten that far, but I love this. Like, first of all, I just love the look of it. Like, it's just so adorable. Like, first of all, it's got, like, showing a balcony in Cuba, and the balcony frame, that is just beautiful, you know? The whole, how that is designed, and then it's showing, like, curtains hung up, and it's showing a clothes hanger and clothes hung up on the balcony to dry. That in itself is just so artistic. It tells a lot, you know. Either you're doing that because you don't have a washer and dryer, or either you're doing that because you're just old school and you like how the sun and the breeze makes your clothes smell when you're drying your clothes. I want a clothesline just for that, just so I can feel like I'm in Little House on the Prairie days or something like that. So this book is really cool because this book has different poems by famous poets, and the words and the way that they describe Cuba, it goes from describing the beauty and the heaven-likeness, or, you know, Garden of Eden likeness of Cuba, like just the beauty, just it makes me feel like I'm in paradise. It starts off explaining that, and then it basically goes into telling you, you know, the nooks and the crannies and the depths and the crevices and where the the bottomless pit of Cuba, and it's all the different poets are giving their self-expression, their ideas, their experiences about Cuba. So it's beautiful. It really is. And it's talking about professors who has given their students assignments, and when they went to Cuba, they had to then write about it. And so depthness of, the culture, and learning that culture from their mind's eye, and then in writing form or poetry form, teaching us about it. It's really a great book so far. I'm really enjoying that, and I look forward to finishing it. So I have a poem that I would like to share with you, and I always get nervous when I'm about to read my poetry, because I used to recite my poetry like a lot of places. I was doing that. I was doing it well, and I am not in that atmosphere, so to speak, in the reciting form. I'm writing every day virtually. I am a poet, but I'm not really reciting it. So the form of me reading it in that form of reciting is not, I don't have a form anymore. But it's okay, because in due time. So this poem is called A Fine Centerpiece. I have not read this poem since I've written it, so forgive me if I stop, maybe have to go back, read a sentence, or if I choke up, however you say that, yeah, choke up, forgive me. Keep on going. Listen to the wording, and I hope you understand and appreciate it. Okay. So, it's called, let me see. My neck is always oily. All right. It's called, I don't know why, what's happening here. Whew. Okay. A Fine Centerpiece. I thought I had some water to drink. I do. Hold on. Okay, let me pour me some water really fast. I got a big old gallon jug. I remember this young girl said, "Why do you just hold your water in your mouth?" I said, "I never even realized I did that until she said something," but whatever the case may be. Maybe I do. A little bit more thirsty. Okay. Here we go. Excuse me. It's kind of rude. Sorry. I can't breathe. My nose is stopped up for some reason. Let me show you real quick. I got this notebook. It says, "Love notes." So pretty. Anyway. Alright. A Fine Centerpiece. Where is the fountain of my youth? Several summers ago, I was picking right there. Can I please start over? I have to stop my dryer because the noise is annoying me. And when I read my poetry, I need utter silence. So please forgive me for being so anal. I'll be right back. I'm back. Okay. Can't breathe. Give me some Vicks or something. Whew. My nose. Okay. Where is the fountain of my youth? Several summers ago, I was picking ripe berries from your leaves, filled with plenty, while winter crept in. So I searched for you as a blanket, but the one I found had holes and was trampled in the snow. So I dug you out, and the cold bit my fingers numb, and this caused pain to my heart. But despite the storm, I was more affected by the thought of what I would do if I didn't have you. To mend my wounds, so the pain grieved was used to see you through. I needed to rescue you so that you could rescue me too. Where is favor that kept us like two turtle doves cooing expressions of love? I be your Bonnie and you my Clyde. You know, I actually read this before. I am so sorry, y'all. I'm tripping. I'm so sorry. I'm going to start over. Well, I'm not going to start over. Okay. I am so sorry about that. Please, I hope you guys continue with me. I actually have read that poem before, and I didn't realize it until I got to the part where I said, "You be my Bonnie and I be your Clyde," because somebody told me that when they watched the recording, that they realized that when I said, "You be my Bonnie and I be your Clyde," they realized I was talking about poetry at that point when I said that. So that's what made me realize, that stood out to me to help me to see that I read that before. So I am so sorry. I don't want to give you the same poem over again. So there was another one right here behind it. So I'll go ahead and read this one, okay? Now, I don't have a title for this one, okay? But I'm going to start this. So, sorry. Here we go. before Children plucked before the sun could shine on their bloom, that had a right to presume their light, and their flight trampled by ignorance. Yes, your innocence shattered to a sum of none, tears spilled for you, an awakening of shame and love will not be buried where there are memorial tombs. Inviting the pain without delay is more than those days when life lived and was lost. Children empty, where children have emptiness, and even though one of you is true, a seed alive, thriving like grapes growing on vines, precious like aged old red wine, is this family line of the same womb that held you. This swan would really love you, nestled in the cradle of true love, while imperfection is real, so is the pain that the dime shining by a cleansing over time feels deep down inside. Because thy little pieces that controls and mounts up the spine has been lost, but never will the star that glistens afar, or the rainbow that springs as a reminder that the rains bring good cheer, be forgotten, my dear. You will soon be anew Love higher than this love, than this loved one. Spilled blood as perfect as you will be too. Singing a new tune better than this one that gets trampled with the flu. In time, your light will shine, and so will the heavens that leads the direction that it gives to those accepting the Lord's righteous gift. Will you, so that mistakes will be the past? Hearing with these stories, you will laugh, because joy has taken residence as an army against sadness. The bag that it's also with will be thrown in the trash and burned to its last. Babies faring badly, maybe on this side of life, but it was yours, not these wings, but the wings that carries them, and truly faith would have carried you too. So that poem, I hope you enjoyed that, because that was actually my first time also reading that aloud since I wrote that. And I'm only going to explain this because it was very difficult for me to read it. But definitely this was about children that don't really have a chance, you know. Their influence is maybe negative, and so they have a lot of doubt growing up, a lot of inner doubt, you know, that kind of things that they're faced with, only because they didn't have the direction or the encouragement to help build them, to build their confidence within themselves. So this is basically a poem in talking about how even if they didn't have that from people that should have been there to teach them and uplift them, that God cares, God recognizes them, and God loves them. And so that's what that's talking about, how they have a chance. And it doesn't matter, because they're not left as long as they have a higher power, right? So, by their creator. So basically that's what that poem was about, okay? So I hope you enjoyed it. And next time I will try my best to read my poem before, so I can get my wording right. But at the same time, like, for some reason I can't really breathe because, well, my nose is stopped up. I mean, no mystery there. So I'm so glad that I was able to share with you today, and I hope that everything continues to be well with you and continue to be creative so that you can continue to flourish within inside of yourself and feel good about you. So whatever things that you like to do, always remember creativity comes in all different shapes, forms, and fashions. It's so endless, creativity. So I hope that you continue today or tonight or whatever the case may be, and end with love and peace in your heart. And thank you for tuning in with me. And please do not forget to subscribe to me. I need subscribers. So I am Key Havila.